up the windshield. I'm like, oh, that's not good. So,
Never is.
nope. Mm-mm.
Broken windshields. What are you going to do?
Mhm.
All right. Excuse me. Hold on a minute.
He's has clear that he has to prepare the instrument.
Are we ready to kick this thing?
Yes.
Please. Let's.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of amateur endurance racing and I totally blew that. World of low dollar racing and oddball car culture.
196
I was
episodes.
gonna say, you've only said this a few times.
I know.
196.
It doesn't matter what kind of Levy Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCC or NASA. We won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
Hi.
And I'm mental.
Everybody.
Hello, guest voice. We'll get to you in just a moment. And we are Everyone Racers Podcast. Thanks for coming back and listening to a Silver Arrow episode of our podcast. That's right. It is 196. The W196 was the Mercedes F1 car built for the 54 and 55 season. It was, I believe, the first silver one, and it was rather pointy. It was not the first silver one? I thought it was.
No. In fact, it wasn't even the first one called the Silver Arrow, but it was the first F1 car with fuel injection.
Oh, there you go. It was driven by Fangio and Sir Sterling Moss in his little hat. It won 9 out of 12 races, entered and captured the only 2 world championships in which it completed. A 3-liter 300 SLR was derived from the W196 and the 55 World Sports Car Championship. But its crash at Le Mans spelled the end. Mercedes then pulled out of competitive racing in 1955 and did not return for another 3 decades. Excuse me again. If you're not driving a car for another 3 decades or you're really bored, why not check out our revised E1R bingo card? Link in the show notes. If you get bingo, please take a picture and post it on our social media. Hey, everyone. How we doing? What you working on?
Hi, Jeff.
Chris.
Hi, Jeff.
I have been cleaning the mouse effluent and grime out of the Corvette. This is about as fun as sanding the Whaler. It's
At least
amazing.
sanding the Whaler's fun to say. Like,
Yeah,
or,
right.
you know, it has like a double entendre. The cleaning mouse crap out of a Corvette has only one meaning.
Yeah. So I took all these soft bits of the interior out and got them in the driveway and pressure washed them all after repairing the pressure washer I borrowed from my neighbor that was not pressurizing. So, hey, I returned it in better condition than I borrowed it. So that's always nice.
For people who might be just tuning in,
Yes.
what is this Corvette? And
This
why
is a
it full of mouse poop?
1984 Corvette, the second finest year of Corvette. Not quite as terrible as the 1982, but still, it's from a friend. It had sat for 20 years, and he asked me to do something with it. So because it has great sentimental value. So again, all the soft bits out, all pressure washed, OxyClean, scrubbed, Resolve, Simple Green. Basically a cocktail of cleanliness went on to these things and a lot of pressure washing. And then I pressure washed the whole car itself, including the mice's favorite place seems to be in a C4. There are cold air ducts that run molded into the fiberglass hood, the giant hood from the very front. They're molded in and they pick up to the sides of the crossfire injection airbox. And the mice love those passageways in the hood, which if I were mice, I would love them too. I ended up just putting after blasting them out with the pressure washer, just sticking the hose in it and just letting it run for a while, spraying Simple Green in it till it ran clear. The amount of disgusting brownness that ran down my driveway is amazing. Yeah. Mental, yes.
So what is the cleaning equivalent to weasel piss, which is what Jeff always calls his mixture of everything he uses to get. So if we should really just submit that to the listeners. What is when you mix all of the cleaning supplies, not bleach and ammonia, but all of the cleaning supplies, and we should come up with a name.
This was a combo of Simple Green, Resolve, and OxyClean. And seemed to work. Actually, the carpets came out fine. The padding even doesn't have anything in it. Smells fine now. So now tonight
I don't think it smells fine.
the padding, like, no, I
Padding
actually picked the
smells
padding
okay.
up, and yeah, there's still some smell in the car. And so I've even ordered an ozone machine, thanks Prime Day, and that's coming Friday to get
I'd like
like
to
in the
suggest
vents and stuff. And
if you've ever seen Roger Rabbit, the evil fluid that erased the cartoon characters was just called the dip. I think we should call that the dip.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, pretty
gross.
much.
This
Tonight I
project is
was
gross.
using Fantastic with bleach and Nature's Miracle spraying wiping down all the hard surfaces on the floor of the car. So once I do the ozone machine, the first round, it'll be ready to put the interior back together. And then I can actually start working on the mechanicals. Aside from that,
to be around it.
yeah, right. Exactly. That's what the whole thing. Like it's gross. I don't want to touch it until it's clean or cleaner. Had to unload the trailer again tonight, get the Mazda back out, put the windows back in it, sit in the driveway because tomorrow we're picking up the new Civic.
Wait, I must blow the triumphant horn.
Triumphant horn. That was pretty triumphant.
Actually, was strangely that was. I was expecting failure.
When I put it
There's
to my
no
lips,
failure
I
in
had
this
no
plan.
idea what I was going to do.
So someone apparently went to a Renaissance fair once. Yeah, new Civic. Thanks to Chip from Manny's Elmo's Revenge team, who randomly was talking to Chrissy, right? Chrissy.
Yeah, actually, I walked by and I was actually just on my way to the restroom at New Jersey, and Chip and a couple of friends were standing outside of the Z, and they were looking at the Z. And I said, I stopped. I said, "Do you want to open the hood? Do you want to look at it more?" And we started chatting, and then for some reason we started talking about Godzilla, and said, "Oh, it's retired." And he was like, I said, "Oh, I don't remember exactly what we said, but we basically said it'd be great if we could we're looking everywhere for a Honda." And he was like, "I know a guy that has a Honda, an EG, that is stripped, ready for a K-swap." And I was like, "Hold on a second. You must talk to this man." And I said this, "Let me get you my card." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so old." But really, I do have a card. So it's a little easier to find me when I give.
Oh, did Chris and Chrissy freeze?
Oh, wow. I thought it was me. I actually thought I was the one gigablasting, and it turns out it's not me or you. So the gigablast demands a sacrifice, I guess.
There you go. Somebody must fall to the poor internet. So we'll just keep going.
Yeah. So
Mental, what are you working on?
I took Friday off and went to the Peterson Automotive Museum. They have the sci-fi cars exhibit, which primarily was about, they had an exhibit they had a land speeder, an actual one that they'd built. They had like a really neat little exhibit, none of the cars, but an exhibit for the Mad Max and Fury Road stuff. But the big part of the exhibit was Blade Runner, the original, and the recent one with Ryan Gosling. And they had all of those set out. And a guy I used to work with, he's a big sci-fi guy. I did not realize this. If you watch those movies and the Kurt Russell film Soldier take place in the same universe, and the art director was the same for both of those films. And if you look in the background of Soldier when he's on the garbage planet, you'll see the spinners, the Blade Runner spinners, like thrown away in the background, and some of the cars in the background. And at the end, when Rutger Hauer, at the end of the original Blade Runner, Rutger Hauer is naming all the battles he was in. Those are the same battles that are tattooed on Kurt Russell's face.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway,
up next
that nerd
on
thing.
the Garage Heroes Nerd Podcast.
Had to get that while Chris and Chrissy were out. So while we're there and we saw that, and then they also had they called them the Hollywood supercars. So like the actual Yellowbird rough 911 was there. I put all this on the social media, got a decent response on that one. And while we were there, we did some other nerdy Hollywood stuff. We went to the La Brea Tar Pits. We had dinner at the Neptune's Net, the same one from Fast and Furious and Point Break. It's gotten a little upscale, but it's still just, fun enough to go have fun at. And then we stopped at the Vasquez Rocks, which is where Kurt was filmed fighting the Gorn on the way home, because we're big nerds.
Wow.
and-
Just when you think it can't get nerdier, right, Ike?
Yeah.
It goes to the original Star Trek.
Listen.
I do. They're not sponsoring us, but they totally should. They're not sponsoring us, but I often bitch that the Facebook marketplace has gotten weaponized, and I was advertised this little Hot Wheels car, which is the original AMG from the 300 SEL, that when the AMG was just a garage, the infamous Red Pig.
And for those of you who are listening to the podcast and not actually watching on YouTube like you should, go to the YouTube and look at it, because it is
It's impressive.
fan-frickin-tastic.
So rather than buy it off Facebook, I went to the website, and it was a little bit cheaper. Lindsay's diecast. I ordered 2 because I went full Star Wars. So I've got one in the original packaging and then one I can play with. And it's got rubber tires. It's metal. I mean, it's got some heft to it. The packaging from Lindsay's diecast was incredible. They actually took some time. They put painter's tape around the package so it wouldn't get creased. They wrapped it in bubble wrap. I've gotten glasses shipped to me less cared for than this. And it is here in Las Vegas, but the terminal hasn't called me. I have a 914 engine, courtesy of Steph Schrader.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Gifted, or did you buy it from Steph Schrader?
Gifted. It was the one in the 411 that Corey put in when he gave her the 411 that died. And then they put one in so she could attempt to do the Texas Rally, which did not go well, but she has completed a Gambler and been driving it around. So I got to rebuild this one, but hey, free is free.
A rebuildable core. That's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Besides your internet, Chrissy, what are you
Dude,
guys working on?
We never lose internet like that.
No.
Sorry about that.
Everyone's got a gigablast every now and again.
Oh,
Well, I guess I got to
that
finish
was-
the story. So anyway, they said, hey, their friend has a Civic. So we went and looked at it on Friday on their way to Cape Cod. And it is a 99% rust-free, 99% straight 93 Civic hatch that previously had a case swap. And that requires some fairly permanent modifications. So those are done. But it already has Integra brakes, including rear discs, and stuff that I would do anyway. But it's a rolling shell with half an interior, and it's not worth much otherwise. But I when I looked underneath and saw no rust, no kinks in the frame rails, no weird things anywhere, it's here. Shut up and take my money.
Well, especially since it's already got the hard modifications to the case swap.
Well, you have to cut off a stock motor mount, for example, to put the
Right.
new ones in. But
Yeah.
and some of the wiring is already there. Even okay, sold.
Mechazilla.
So now that's 5 non-running cars that I have to deal with.
The good
Well, 4.5.
news is
The
We probably
green
shouldn't
Civic.
tell-
I was
we
going to
shouldn't
say,
tell
are you
people that.
counting the Z in that? Because that's kind of
No.
my problem. Okay.
No, that is
No,
your problem.
it's not here.
I guess
the
I was
good
counting
news
the green
is-
Civic. The
the
green
good
Civic.
news is your race car. One of your race cars is tagged. You can totally drive it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to
It's
tag
not
this
about
one
how many
too.
cars we have that we can drive. It's the number of cars that we have that don't drive. These are not mutually exclusive problems here.
Actually,
We
it's
have a lot of
4
cars.
because the old Civic does move around on its own power still. That's why I kept it together, because it takes up less room being together, and it's a lot easier to move around when it moves itself. So
We've had multiple inquiries from a listener who wants to buy the Citroen.
yeah, who knows? That needs really 10 more pictures so I can put it on Bring a Trailer, and I'm going to get those when I bring this new Civic to the garage, and I'm going to get those last 10 pictures and the things going on Bring a Trailer.
Excellent.
So,
Very excited.
yeah. Anyway, that's all. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Chrissy, do you want to add anything?
I am not helping on the Corvette because I'm standing my ground, and not until it's clean and smells better will I go outside. But I'm doing other things. We had a quick jaunt to the Cape. We kind of said that in the middle of there. Work's really busy. I'm in a leadership conference, and everything's gonna be better after tomorrow when I have a major presentation to give in the afternoon. So that's me. Mental, you already talked, right? Did you finish what you were talking about?
I did. It's Jeff's turn.
Okay, Jeff.
It was Father's Day weekend, and there was no way I was even going to look at the Z. So I chose to go whitewater rafting with the troop, the Boy Scout troop, and my son. A great Father's Day jaunt. And I'd like to mention that I did not lose my wedding ring like I did last time that I was whitewater rafting. So that's a bonus. And then I had
Did you just take it off this time like
no I
everyone
ran.
else does?
No, I ran with it. And on Monday, and I'm glad Ike is here because I definitely want to talk to him about this. I test drove a Model 3 as a potential new vehicle for the Wakeman family.
So you're a hipster. That's what's going on here.
I'm
totally. He's always been a hipster. Totally.
I don't know if hipster is the accurate word, but
Skinny jeans, Jeff.
yeah, right. Ew.
That hairline, he wears it ironically.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
this is
gonna
the
say-
question. Was he really whitewater rafting or was he tubing? Because that will give us the answer on whether he was a hipster or not.
It was a whitewater rafting trip. It had a big raft with 6 people in it. So
Okay. How many times did you get out to go pee? That's the other question.
0.
Okay.
Was
yes,
the
it-
cooler tied to your ankle?
No.
Yeah,
Full of PBR.
This
No.
is
That sound of judgment you hear
Hi.
is coming from our guest. We have a guest tonight. It is Ike, last name redacted for some
That's right.
reason. We're not sure.
That's right.
And
My
but
identity
luckily
is a secret.
he has creatively named his own podcast the Untitled Car Show.
I'm a man
We've
of
talked to
mystery.
Ike a long time ago, so we're glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Ike, what are you working on?
What am I working on? Well, let's see here. I also have currently in my stable 5 cars, right? Yeah, 5. And so I got the Fiero, which is working, and the camper van, which is technically working, and the Ranger, which is technically working, and then the Fiesta ST, and then my wife's reliable Escape. And then the Fiero, I'm getting ready to go up to Carlisle this weekend with, which is going to be very fun and exciting. So I'm very disappointed the Corvette's not working, though, because I was hoping that you would find your way up to GM Nationals this week. I guess that's just not going to happen.
Is that what's happening in Carlisle? GM Nationals?
Yes. So it's going to be me and a bunch of people, Corvettes. I don't know if there's a separate Corvettes at Carlisle event. Or if
There
that's
is a
part of
separate
this.
Corvette.
Even
in
if there's
Carlisle.
not, they'll make one.
I know. Yeah, it's going to be, well, there's supposedly going to be 150 Fieros here. So that's a lot of white
Whoa.
trash. That's going to be up there.
Wow.
So that
The
should be
fire
entertaining.
will be able to be seen from your house, Chris and Chrissy.
Definitely.
Yeah, just northeast Pennsylvania is just totally, or northwest Pennsylvania is just totally engulfed in flames. It'll be fine. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was one model year. That was it. It was fine. Yeah, no, that was that's what I've been working on. And so yeah, I'm just very happy because I think last time we talked, we were talking about this. I don't know if that was on air or off air whenever stuff gets recorded here, but it all is this vague and nebulous recording session. It's been 3 years since we last spoke, I think is what you said.
March
yeah.
2018, yes.
I'm trying to think of when I actually went and picked up the Fiero. If I still had the old beat up Volvo back then that was in the process
Yes.
of blowing up an engine. Yeah.
Yes, because you were putting a 6-cylinder in it to do a Lemons rally, and you
Yeah.
were going for the 1-wire alternator because you're like, everyone will have parts of this thing.
Yeah. It turns out not quite so much the case. So that was fun. That got working, but that pissed off everyone in the community. So that car had to go bye-bye. So that was fun. And then the Fiero I bought on the auspices of it's a running, driving car. So I'm just going to get this thing. I'm going to bring it home. It just needs a clutch, master cylinder, and it'll be fine. And then that thing blew up its engine. So I swapped in another motor, and that one blew up. So now I'm on the 3rd motor, which this one should be good. We'll see. I got 2-hour trip from here to Carlisle. Not tomorrow. Because this comes out tomorrow, right?
We're taping on Wednesday. It'll be released on Wednesday at like midnight. So
There,
Thursday morning.
Yeah. So basically, when you're hearing this, probably the next day, wish me luck. So if you're in Pennsylvania and you see a fire, it's probably me and I need help. So,
What are the deets on this Fiero? Is this a legendary 2.8 liter GT version?
Oh, it is. It's the 85 version with an 87 motor inside of it. So that's been bored and stroked by some mysterious old man in Florida who I think is now dead, who I bought from a guy in Pennsylvania, or not Pennsylvania, from Delaware. So he gave me a good price on it. It was the whole drivetrain. He's like, it's ready to go. Just put it in and it's good to go. And then I put it in, and then the long and short of this, I found out it was operating on 3 cylinders.
Oh,
So
worst.
That's
Yeah.
Fiero good to go.
Yeah, I
right?
was going to say.
Oh.
GM car will run shitty longer than most cars will run. You know, that's
True.
This is this is a theme because the Z was ready to race when you bought it before you did the swap.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's how it always is. It's good to go. It's fine. It's great. And then you get it. Like there's a reason it's being sold, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And we all know this, and yet we all still buy into the fantasy. Like, no, this time will be different. I don't know. The last 8 guys beat me up. It's different. This guy's fine.
We have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
If I just don't piss him off, he won't hit me.
He treats me nice, I swear. So,
But he loves me, Mom.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
I've had-
fantastic.
Yeah, I've had one. The worst car like that though was my Challenger, which was in the shop every other week, but it was so gorgeous to look at. That was literally like dating an abusive person because it was like she looks so good, but we get home and she just treats me so poorly. So, that was fun.
But she lets everyone else under the hood whenever.
Right,
yeah.
Like, oh, she puts on a good show for everyone else, but then as soon as no one's looking, it's like, yeah, check engine light. I'm going to start dieseling. That's what I do. What are you doing this? So,
Well, let me. We kind of jumped off of my my Tesla Model 3 story so that we could
yes.
introduce you because I wanted to make sure you could chime in on this. So, the wife is actually the one who has spurned this interest in the mighty Tesla 3, because she now has 150 something thousand miles and no car payments on her daily, and has decided that her mega commute could only be improved by range anxiety. I will discuss whatever you want to discuss, but I'm kind of excited. Chris, go ahead. You got your hand up.
My guess for why she wants to do this is that you won't be able to work on it because it's a Tesla, and that is a defining point for her as a selection. Yes,
She doesn't mind when I work on her car. She actually likes it better because she thinks Subaru is full of idiots who lie to her.
They're not wrong.
Yeah. When she goes to the Subaru dealer, it says, "Give this lady a free oil change, or else she will kill you." So
I
I don't
like
think
that might happen with your wife other places.
I don't think we have paid for half of the
Even in
oil
restaurants, they're
changes.
like, here's an oil change. Here.
Yeah,
Here's some cake, so I know you don't kill me.
We'll go North Jersey on your ass.
She needs a bumper sticker.
Do not offer her an alignment. You will just get scorn. Yeah.
422sucks.com.
Yeah, exactly. So let me tell you, I'm a convert. I think everybody should be driving a Tesla. Not me, because I still kind of want to clutch. But if you have not yet had the opportunity, find a friend with one and try it, check it out. The one pedal driving was extremely interesting. I yelled open bunghole at it several times and it didn't work. So someone will have to write in, because didn't Kurt say, or Craig say, that he had
You
to
can't
you have to
do
do
it
it
while
it's
you're
moving.
driving.
Yeah.
we did
you
it in a
can't do
parking lot, but I thought he
Should
said
work.
you had to like push something to get
setting
the
or
voice.
something,
There was
yeah.
a setting in the voice. But anyway, a Model 3 will probably be my wife's next daily driver, and we'll just have to figure out when that is, because there's absolutely nothing wrong right now with the Subaru Forester.
Which should
except-
be your new daily when you buy her the Model 3.
hell no, I hate driving that thing. But this is
All right.
totally
You'll dump $2,000 in it and sell it to some high schooler for $700.
Yeah, this is totally changed my outlook on what will be. I'm still looking for the Hyundai Veloster, and eventually soon when the car market cools down. But I think that might be my last gas powered vehicle for a daily.
have you looked at the BMW i3 with the range extender?
I have not.
I drove one of those, but they're golf carts.
They are golf carts, which is why I love them. But they're the most practically packaged car I've ever driven as well.
Yeah, but
So-
she's got 150 miles down 422. I would not do that in
she
that.
has
i3.
No,
she
good point.
has a 200-ish mile commute daily.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
So yeah, Model 3 or Model Y. We're going to check out a Model Y in the next
Yeah.
weekend, and it will be long range, and like I said, it's going to be interesting. We're definitely shopping for the long haul, because it like I said, there's nothing wrong with the Subaru Forester at the moment. But
has she considered an RV? You could drive the RV there, and then you have to come home
and then stay there. Yes.
Yeah.
We thought about Teslas when we got the Mercedes, but what turned me off of them is the way they lock down everything. You can't change more than a wheel on that car without having to have the computers to talk to it, and no one has those, and you can only buy parts from them, and they don't sell it to parts to anybody. Like there's big issues with all that. So that lack of even the possibility of DIY just made it a non-starter for us.
And as you mentioned before, Jennifer likes it when I don't wrench on her car. So
yeah,
it's not as big of an issue for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But actually longevity and not longevity for trip, like range anxiety, but longevity of batteries is definitely something we're investigating, because obviously in 5 years she'll put 200,000 miles on it, and making sure it still have
so new or used?
No difference in the price at the moment, so it would probably be new.
Ford F-150 Lightning.
I'm trying to talk my wife into one of those, and she's like, "Oh wow, that's really cool. Oh, it's amazing. I don't want one."
Yeah,
I think it's time for
What?
news and notes. It's time. Okay. We posted this to our Facebook, and most of you already know, but the first turn of the Nürburgring will now be officially named after Sabine Schmitz. As Hazel Southwell writes at The Drive, turn 1 is now known as Sabine Schmitz Curve with a K.
Spelled with a K, like
Spelled
it
with a
should
K.
be.
It's a curve with a K. Hazel also writes, now whenever you cross the start-finish line at the track, Sabine Schmitz will be ahead, and every lap will start with her sending you on your way.
Oh,
Pretty awesome.
that is awesome.
And we'll be the first to admit we've done some creative repairs on our race cars in times of youth and of poverty and in times of great need, even on our daily drivers. But the refreshingly humorous Barron County Sheriff's Department of Wisconsin arrived at a rollover accident this past weekend and saw this at a whole new level. Their post on their Facebook page is a gentle reminder that vice grips are for use on your hoopty's window crank, not your brake lines. The Ford pickup's driver and his dog were both uninjured. And as Jason Torchinsky writes at Jalopnik, the vice grips impressively stayed on the front brake line he pinched before taking his F-250 on the road. A link to both the Facebook post and the article in our notes. Brace yourself. The amateur repairman did not have a valid driver's license, but did have an outstanding felony warrant. The dog's warrant status still unclear.
I believe that I vice gripped the rear brake hose of Connie on the Babe Rally twice on 2 separate occasions.
We didn't say we've never done dumb things. We just suggesting other people don't.
We didn't say we didn't do it.
We always say, learn from us.
Exactly.
We do dumb things so you don't have to.
And why did you do it twice, though? That's
it
my
fell
question.
off once.
It's Connie. That's
So
why.
just the tip, since we're doing safety tips later in the show, remove the vice grips before you use the hot wrench to break the brake line once you get the new one, because it will boil the brake fluid and explode that rubber brake line right in your face.
This sounds like too much knowledge.
I'm like a shot in the face.
I'm going to call an audible here. I am not going to read the story about how Mazdas are now coming out with 13 electric cars by 2025, because John Pagel just posted on Facebook a notice of counterfeit SFI labels on restraints sold by RAS Tuning Parts. It seems they were selling restraints under their own label, and they have never submitted anything for testing. And if you bought some of those, take them to hell out of your race car, get your money back.
Yeah. It's a
We'll have
special kind of
we'll have a
evil.
link to that post on our show
Yeah.
notes
Yeah.
as soon as I get there.
Already on our
Mhm.
Facebook. So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead, Ike, you were saying something?
I was saying that's a special kind of evil to do that kind of thing where you're like, oh, fake safety labels. Like that's like there's a special place in hell for those people.
Well, and they might find themselves accelerated there. Automotive enthusiasts across the board, with the exception, 1 out of 5 of them is an idiot. The other 4 are usually pretty smart and creative and vengeful. And you threaten a bunch of people that have tools and free time and money. That'll work out well.
Yeah. Yeah, who's got more cash to burn? A crack addict, like cocaine addict, or like a car addict? Like that's a tough one.
But they're lawyers and they can weld.
A good point. Can they though?
All right, Beth, you got something on there. You're next.
All right. Sorry about that. Let me scroll down here. So yesterday, as we were recording this on Wednesday, host number 5, the Eric Rude, had his birthday. I think he's 30. So as you're on your way to Gingerman, make those bribes worthwhile. For those thinking about SpaghettiOs, he's already gotten them in a briefcase, and he actually had them in a sealed beer can. So be a little creative, be original. So do pop onto your favorite social media and hit those hashtag nudes for rudes and some interesting pictures of noodles, because he's not interested in naked people. Well,
he's not interested in pictures.
Yeah, exactly. There's like one person. Yeah, but no, don't. But yeah,
That's
pictures of noodles.
You're not taking yourself out of this whole very well.
Nope. Sorry about that. Okay, we're
gonna. There we go. That's how I'm digging.
Coming races. It is a busy weekend on the racing calendar, so let's talk about it. Lemons is at Gingerman. There are 88 cars there. 7 of them are BMWs.
Boring.
I'm waiting for you, and I got nothing. 1 Miata, 10 Hondas, 2 Porsches, and a battle Eric has been waiting for a decade: a 2006 Chevy HHR versus a 2004 PT Cruiser.
That's real racing, folks.
That's going to be interesting. If you had to hop up one or the other, I think the HHR has a plethora of performance parts.
Because PT is just a neon.
So. Everything. Chris
you're right.
Saying,
you can SRT for a cruiser.
Exactly. The brakes, the turbo, all of that. It's all
LSJ
right
and HHR. So, we need Johnny and Drew to fight. That's really okay.
AER is in New Jersey. NJMP Lightning. Yes, that is the dong-shaped course. Be careful when entering around the taint. 28 car in the rain. It gets wet there. 28 cars, 11 BMWs.
Still
boring. 3 Miatas, 0 Hondas.
Seriously?
5 Porsches. And the Keystone Cops, both spelled with K's, will be back with a brand new Volvo 240. That's interesting.
I hope most teams are bringing reading material for their drivers, because we've been on an AER race at Lightning with 20-something cars.
It was terrible.
And it's painfully boring. You're just by yourself.
Especially when you do a 4-hour stint and you just keep going and you're like, I raced somebody for a little bit, and then I'm like, nope, just keep racing by myself.
It's so boring.
It's only like 7 turns technically.
Yeah. And 2 are interesting.
Yeah.
So
1.5
reading materials.
Yeah. The bowl. That's
All right.
Okay. Champ Cars at CMP for the RVA Graphics and Wraps Carolina Grand Prix. 66 cars, 18 BMWs.
More boring.
12 Miatas, 3 Hondas, a Porsche, and a 75 Nova. Hey, Corey might be there, apparently.
All right.
Corey is trying to get all. What are they? Not J bodies.
Who knows? I don't know what.
I think they are B bodies.
Late 70s Nova, Omega, Seville.
No, Nova, Omega, Venture, Apollo, because they spell
Skylark.
Nova.
Don't forget the Skylark.
Nope,
yes.
Skylark
No,
is not
it was
one
a
of them.
Buick Apollo, but Cadillac what?
No, there was no Cadillac. It was the Chevy Nova, the Oldsmobile Omega, the Pontiac Ventura, and the Buick Apollo.
Okay.
And they only made the Apollo in that that Nova body style for like a year. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Lucky
turn,
Dog at Portland for the Salute to the Dogs. 8+7, 53 cars, 14 BMWs. So boring.
Boring.
7 Miatas, 5 Hondas, 2 Porsches, and my fave, the 84 Monte Carlo of the Intimidators. Go. Woo!
I have to say, check this off your bingo card. Mental is correct. Yeah.
Is that on our bingo card these days?
No.
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a Buick Apollo, but there is a Buick Skylark though. That's an X body from
Skylark.
76 79. So Jeff is also kind of right.
Yeah.
The Nova,
Oh, Jeff
Ventura,
is right. Is that on my bingo card?
and also a
No.
Pontiac
Probably.
Phoenix. So this is all according to the the Wikipedia's. So
Right now, Donnie is like going, yeah, I could have told you that.
Oh no. Now Donnie knows his 80s GMs, but you want to go
Not
back to
70s.
70s.
This is
yeah,
Corey.
that
This
is
is Corey's
Corey
territory.
Dickman territory. Absolutely. Yeah.
all right.
Do
Sorry,
you
I
think
digress.
it's
Continue.
wise to doubt Donnie at all, though? That's my
Never.
concern.
when the evil headquarters rises out of the swamp and he reacquires his Cadillac, yeah. So I see where you're going on that one.
Yeah, no, I know. Donnie, I love you. I'm not with these people.
Oh, Donnie came and slept on my couch, helped me with a Cadillac that made it 111 miles, and then we were trapped in a Jeep for a week. So yeah, if he hasn't killed me yet, I mean, there might be something in me waiting for a timer to blow, my arteries out. But
Now, if he's going to eat your face, it'll be eaten. Recent results.
Champ Car had 2 races. We talked about Audubon South. Saturday, R Bank Racing's 88 CRX was first. A lap over Subliminal Racing's 91 Corvette. And 3 laps back was Dirty 30s in an E30. Because, real creative name.
Sunday, the R Bank CRX again beating a different BMW by a lap. Second was TR Motorsports in a 93. A 93 what? Do we know? It says it's a 93.
Nope.
yeah, sorry.
Third was the Blue Shells in a Focus. I hope that's a Mario reference.
Now,
Okay.
now we missed the champ race at Willow Springs. Very West Coast champ race, 12 cars running, add in the 3 exception class cars. They had 15 total. Zoom Kaboom won by 33 laps over a BMW and another Miata, which not a bad on the racers. If you're on the West Coast, give champ a chance, man. They need to get those numbers up.
Pretty low. Sunday was a little bit.
They just run with Lucky Dog instead because
Run with both,
Kathy-
everybody.
Kathy's
Yeah, run with
great.
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kathy is great. Go. Yeah, if you're on the East Coast, run with Lucky Dog.
Yes. Sunday was a little bit better. Still 12 cars, but Uncommon Friends took their 78 Datsun 200Z, just 3 laps over Roto Pluker's RX-7 and Drive Skills in a Miata 16 laps from the top spot.
Okay.
16 laps back, third place. That's what happens when there are 12 cars on the track.
Crazy.
Yeah, right. 12 cars. Ugh.
Listener feedback time.
Mental went to the Peterson Museum, shared some great photos, including an unmolested clean first-gen RX-7 in the parking garage. The Gnome Hammer commented, "Excuse me, I need to go wankle a moment."
That's nice. That's nice.
On YouTube, Tyler S. commented that with several great hearing protection options, noting that power tools are really what gets him. He added, of particular interest to Chris, it's worth every penny to invest in a quality headset for flying. Airplanes are loud. He is also enjoying all of the Mazda stories that make him look forward to getting his on the track.
Going to be a Gingerman this weekend and running that S10. Now, Michael K has some troubleshooting ideas for my Mercedes and the TPS sensor, along with a too late Father's Day link for a pretty neat tool set on Amazon, as he calls his go-to for the Hoopty pick and pull kit. And we'll have a link of that in the show notes. Now, also, Alex Levinson called us out for missing one of the Lemons Awards. And normally we'd kind of blow that critique off, but it was heroic fix. And it's Alex, who is a really good person. So sorry about that, Alex. I'm the one that does the show notes, and that was my fault.
All right. I'm busy looking at the toolkit, and now I have lost the show notes. Hold on a second.
Jeff, you could do this after the show.
Well, I was just checking it out. Loading. If someone wants to read my story, go ahead. I'll get there.
Okay, so
I
Andrew
got it.
Pullman.
Andrew Pullman was sympathizing with me on the Z loss. So anyway, quote, "I've been through the same emotions as Jeff in the last few weeks. It sucks to have your race end due to an error, not a component failure. We've stepped on our wieners too many times with broken equipment or design oversight. After 3 years of sorting out an engine swap and other swap parts, we're we weren't having any issues. Insert an overdriving teammate who does a few barrel rolls. All the hours and a large part of their investment was gone. There's a lot of self-depreciation and laughing at the cars we race, but there's also lots of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into our crap cars. We absolutely know that. Everyone in the paddock provided a lot of encouragement to keep us going, to get us back on the track with a new build, and to offer seats in upcoming races while their new build was happening. So yeah, thanks for the encouragement, Andrew.
Real quick, the I Suck at Racing, it was our favorite. They did the trash. It was a banger cross. They had street stocks at Charlotte with the Rally X. Al Smith took the overall, but we decided randomly that it was Ron Harrington. Then the next was Totally Rad, which was Spec Racer Fords and Radicals on a dirt track, which are actually, it was a linear speedway. Hilarious. It's like water bugs circling around. Tyler, one of the aliens, won that one, but we decided Tyler got the random. Aaron Lingerman, our own Wartburger thief, crushed that one. He just hung out in second and waited till everybody crashed out. And then came the roller derbies, 2 of them at Road Atlanta. This was hysterical. Now, Pullman actually had this brilliant Swayze theme because nobody puts baby in a corner. And Tyler and Samuel were the randoms, but Santi and All Smith, as he's known on the iRacing, took that one. Then the next one was Schlavine with Travis Nelson, and Aaron and Kevin Hesser, the Hesser brothers, took that one out. The best part of this is by the second race, they were running 87s versus the Miatas. All of the 87s would just line up on the back straightaway at Road Atlanta, literally just slightly angled out like cops waiting to give you a ticket. And the Miatas would have to weave their way through everyone trying to hit them as they came
I
out.
have to catch this. If you have not seen it, all of these races are on YouTube, on the Lemons channel. Absolutely catch it. I'm sorry I was not able to be there doing Father's Day things and sleeping off the whitewater rafting snooze-a-thon. So I was sorry I wasn't there.
Yeah, it's great. The penultimate 2021 season 1 event is this Sunday. They're going to be, and then they'll be at Okayama Speedway in Japan, which I think we ran, and then maybe July 4th. They're thinking about kicking that one down the road a little bit. It'll be the no pedal, no wheel trash sprints, which will wrap up the season. So absolutely check out Bearded Sim Racer and watch that stuff on live. It's hilarious.
All right.
Great.
E1R race. Monday, there was a race. We were at Okayama. We were not there, so I'm not sure how it went. But it sounds like none of us were there. But I'm sure everybody had a good time.
Okay, yeah, because I did the 8 gigabyte download and fell asleep and was not feeling really good, so I slept until the next day. So I missed it. Jeff, nothing?
No, wasn't there. I was busy also.
Congrats to all of our racers.
All right, well, we promise one of us will make it next Monday. How about that? Every Monday, E1R races on the iRacing. Link in the show notes for our Discord. Get a hold of us. There is a password protection. It isn't hosted races, but if you happen to know our favorite brake pad, ST43, you can figure out our password.
But get a hold of us anyway, because the link to the Discord is the best part.
All right.
So Ike's having fun.
Yes.
you know who never edits the show notes while we're trying to read them? Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi.
We miss you. We love you.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Chrissy's mom would be very upset at the little penis pictures you're putting in the show notes right now.
They're smiley faces with a big nose. What are you talking about?
Right. Just have to turn it sideways, right? That's how you read those?
Yes. It's an emoji. Come on now.
You have to do 3 p.m. In the paddock style. I don't know where's the back.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the, or the Kim Harmon Real Racer Dong trademark. So let's hear the nude story.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were talking about nude noodles. I have a quick little story that I love from my childhood. So my father's from Italy. My mom is very American. So when we were in Italy, like catching up with family, they collected a bunch of postcards and they put them in these little frames and they put them all over the house. And the noodles, I don't know how they never caught onto it, but about every third postcard was noodles, and they were penis-shaped noodles. And I absolutely love this because like I was probably like 12 and I'm like, oh, it's a penis. Like, it's funny. I don't know why we're hanging up around the house. And we do like summer events there all the time. So it'd be like birthdays, Christmas stuff, like all the family's over. Everyone knows this. And then eventually, like one day, like 4 years ago, my sister's like, why do you have the penis noodles all over the house? And my mom's like, what are you talking about? Like the postcards, like every third one is like a penis. She's like,
every
no,
single
not.
person in the family has noticed their penises, but you, Mom.
Yes, exactly. Like grandma, grandpa, both sides of the family. Everyone knows. How have you not figured this out? She's like, what? And she gets up close to him and says, oh my goodness. Like, yeah. So someone needs to find those noodles and send them to Eric Rude. So that's what needs to happen there.
Oh,
I think you can buy them at Spencer's.
the internet has everything.
This is true.
Yes, and that is Ike from the Untitled Car Show, and you are our main topic because you are our guest. So we're going to interview you, interview style. We don't have any set up questions like the Actors Studio, so you'll just have to be prepared for anything that we might possibly throw at you. But
scary.
Some of our listeners might not listen to your show, so we want to make sure that you start by telling us, hey, what is your show all about? And obviously it's called the Untitled Car Show, but yeah, give us the elevator speech.
Oh goodness. So if this was a real elevator, it'd be like, it's a show. And then I would just sit in silence and wait for the elevator to open. I don't like people.
My mom has pictures of penises all over her house.
This is true. They're penis noodles. Thank you very much. Yeah. Get it straight. Come on. No. So I started this years ago now. And what the intention was to interview interesting people and just like kind of ask them, because like you brought up, inside the Actors Studios, but for cars is kind of how I thought of it in my mind. And it was like, because everyone's got very interesting stories. I have yet to meet someone in my life, who does not have a story about a car that like they enjoyed or they related to. And then as it kind of progressed, I got to talk to, I've talked to, my brain is breaking right now. Just captains in the industry there. Steve Leto is a good friend. He's been on the show a few times.
Actually, yeah. I discovered Steve Leto because of your show.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure he writes books. Yeah. Actually, I have one of his books. Where is it? It's over
Books
there
are for losers.
It's a picture book, though.
Yeah.
But
but I had read some of his stuff, but I didn't realize he had just a short podcast and how aggressive he is about the auto industry. But yeah, so Steve Leto, you've had, I want to say
Bob Lutz.
Yeah, Bob Lutz is the one that I found in my research and said I'm definitely going to ask him
Bob.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was a weird day. So that was like the first big interview we got was Steve, and then I actually talked to Bozy or Bozy.
Bozy. Everybody loves Bozy.
This is 6-7 years. I don't even know how long ago this was, but I know I'm like the first person to actually like interview him, sit down. This is back when he was Hooniverse. And then the next interview after that was Bob Lutz. So it was kind of like all over the place in the get-go.
Disappointment. Bozy, then Bob.
Yeah, but it's true. You're not wrong.
If you've spent any time around Bozy, Bozy is a much better human being.
I should have worn his shirt. I wore my silly Fiero shirt. I have his honey stand shirt. But yeah, I've from them to like the lowest rungs of, the world, to include the Everyone Racers, to
Donnie.
Donnie's been on the show. That took some convincing and get him on the show.
Someday we're going to have a guest who hasn't interviewed Donnie, and it's going to be like a celebration.
Donnie's great though. Donnie's all over. Donnie sneaks up on you. That's what
he
happens.
does. Absolutely.
Like, he creeps into your heart and he makes it all nice and warm. But
he creeps.
Yeah. So I do that.
He's cuddly. He's cuddly. Yeah.
I'm still waiting. He told me he put an alligator in mental. It's going to pop out of his chest soon. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. But no, it's great. I love doing it. I have my co-host Ryan West, who I picked up a few years ago now, who we're starting to kind of transition the show around because it's been as much fun as I have interviewing people. I have ADHD, and it's one of those things where I've done this for a long time, and I'm trying to transition into maybe doing more YouTube content and stuff like that. And I'm enjoying working on the vehicles. So Ryan's might take up more of the interview stuff. I still am doing more interview stuff. It's been a hot minute since an episode's come out recently, so we're kind of in this transitional period. There should be an episode out this week, though. So after you hear this tomorrow, if you're listening to today, this came out, there should be an episode out, and then there should be YouTube content out as well by that day as well. So it's kind of, there was the show in the past, and then as we kind of transition, I still love doing that kind of stuff, but I'm just trying to do more different things with it because it's been a lot of the same for quite a while, if that makes sense. So I don't have like 5 co-hosts to throw stuff off of every day, so it gets a little bit it's mentally difficult sometimes, I guess is the best way to put it. So,
Everything's difficult for me.
Yeah, same. So that's kind of the elevator speech, and I don't know what floor we're on now, but that's where I'm at.
That's all right.
We're on top of the Sears Tower by this point. But yeah, so that's that. And then I don't know. I'm still enjoying looking at the notes here. So let's see. Can I ask myself my own questions here?
Well,
no, we are going to ask the questions.
Yes.
Don't pretend like you know the questions ahead of time. Like pretend they're surprises.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Well, who knows? We might just skip some of them and throw in weird other ones too, because we do that. But I'll go with generally this one is that we were such little noobs when we first talked to you. Sort of, we're kind of better. We're a little less drunk on air, and
sometimes
we have more YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide to come back and slum it with us? It's nice to have you, but
yeah, we're not bitching. We're just
concerned
use this on
your
other people
skills and make sure you're okay.
Well, I feel like about once every 6 months, I send you all a message. I'm like, "Are you good to go?" Like, I think I have some free time coming up because you record in the middle of the week, and my days have like been all over the place because there's been some events in the world. I don't know if you've been paying attention to it. But like there was this whole like virus thing, and then like there's been like just weird random stuff happening. So it's been hard to organize stuff, but it's
together.
Exactly. It's been raining sideways. It's just terrible. But it's just like I've always wanted to come on the show because I enjoy. It's organized chaos, and it's a delight to be. It is peek behind the curtain. It is so fascinating to like you hear the show, and it's like, oh, it's like organized chaos, and then you find out there's a spreadsheet, and it actually is organized chaos.
Okay, it's a Google Doc, and it's a suggestion.
And none of this is hard and fast in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, which is why you drew penises on it.
Yeah, okay.
And normally we might write notes to each other if you weren't watching. So we might say like, do you want this one? No, not this one. Okay, this is more behind the curtain.
So now we have to text.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Good. I
Mental.
like breaking stuff.
No more tequila, mental. That's
you stop, put the bottle down, and he goes, I'm sorry. For those of you that can't see it, he shows the bottle that's mostly empty next to his head. Okay. Well, this is a good segue into the next question. So as you were noting that there had been a pandemic and all kinds of havoc in the automotive world, press events went virtual, excuse me. Car shows canceled, manufacturing stalled. How has COVID affected your ability to cover the world of cars?
It's been this 2020 has basically, because again, this is part-time thing that I do. So I basically had to step back from all of it for quite a while. I was up until 2020 a member of the Washington Automotive Press Association. And then it was, the pandemic hit at kind of like a junction of stuff that, so my daughter has special needs. So I needed to kind of step back because of that. And then I had to, like, the pandemic hit. And so it's been a weird blessing and a curse when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it's been a lot more, let's focus on what's going on inside, but I also can't get off of Twitter and, stay out of the automotive space for too long. So I've been mostly active out on the social space, the Twitters.
Twittersphere.
Yes, the Twittersphere. I'm trying to get into the TikTok. Have you heard of this thing too? It's called the TikTok.
We tried not to hear about it, but at least twice a week we get a text from Jeff
with a TikTok. Somebody's shaking their booty or something.
Yeah.
Or a puppy does something cute.
Dogs.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
My TikTok is 99% mechanics complaining about customers. That is all my TikTok is. It is, and like the other 1% is like Fiero owners, and that's it. But yeah, so
complaining about their Fieros because
yeah, well, that's exactly what, like, no, it's not complaining. It's, I'm not even joking. I think the last time I checked, it was like, and here's my Fiero broken down on the side of the road. Like, yep, that's me in about a day or two. But no, so 2020, the first half of 2020 was a lot of like pulling out and getting self reorganized, getting the personal life and everything taken care of. And then as the year kind of came to an end, worked with Ryan, and we got back up and running into the podcast stuff. Did a lot more. The nice thing about it is having kind of moved to a weekend shift most of the time, being able to kind of catch up with the week's news on the weekend, and then being able to have that kind of stuff to talk with on the weekends. But then Ryan also works over and he does announcing for, I forget the name of the series, and he's going to kill me for that. So that's
dirt track or regular, or
it's like an enduro car, like actual racing, like professional racing. I forget which series it is. I will get a hold of Ryan and get it to you for show notes, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, absolutely. Send it to us. I
want to say World Enduro. I can't remember, but so he does announcing for that, and then so it lets us catch up on like kind of the track stuff for the week, which has been kind of interesting because I cannot keep up with racing. There's something blocked in my brain about trying to keep up with racing. And like, I've been doing my damnedest to try and stay up with Formula One, which is nice and easy.
Oh, so you'll be perfect for our Formula One fantasy league where Jeff and I cannot be dead last anymore. You should totally join.
Are you into Team Clear Coat one? Is that the one?
No, we have our own.
No, but Dave transferred from that one and suddenly found himself ranked second in ours when he's dead last in his own.
I won that 2 years in a row. 3
Nice.
years in a row. Yeah. I know nothing about F1. I should point this out.
Do you watch it?
No.
I'm
come on.
I'm gonna slightly change the topic here. I found your TikTok.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And I'm showing Chris, you've owned a Fiero before. I don't think that's where the needle's supposed to be.
Yeah.
No,
For your water tank.
temperature gauge is not supposed to move in correlation
Yeah.
with the turn signal, but it happens.
But it's funny.
It's an 80s GM product. It does things. It's possessed.
I'm
and
getting
it does
familiar
things.
with those now. Just unfortunately.
There's a lot of components shared between our two vehicles, so I'm gonna point that out. I have the part bin special, and your car's a lot of the parts got pulled out of. So I think we have the same seat. No, you have the bolstered seats.
I
You
do.
have the fancy seats. I'm gonna come steal your seats.
There are fives of parts in relation between them.
Same rail. People go steal Fiero seats and put them in your Corvette. I'm just saying, the Fiero seats are good. It is what it is.
I'm doing nothing on this. Nope. I'm making it work and fairly as well as it can,
and not smell. Actually, you're making it not smell.
Yeah, that's true. That's all I've done so far.
This is pre-Crossfire, right, or whatever the hell that's called.
Oh no, this is Crossfire. This is the Crossfire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Doug Nash 4+3 transmission is my favorite part, or 4+2, whatever the hell that is.
4+3. Yeah, you got it.
3.
Yep.
Out of 7.
That's going to be a fun car. At least it doesn't smell terrible, though. That's the important part. So, terrible car, but at least it has a good interior. So,
Exactly.
My piece of advice for you is dryer sheets. Just leave them out. Just take them and just throw them over the inside of that thing, because that takes care of a lot of smell.
I'm hoping the ozone generator is going to do its thing. We'll find out.
I was thinking about this, if I'm allowed to ask you all a question, because that's how my brain works. So I was thinking about this. What is the worst mess you've ever made in a vehicle?
They're all laughing.
That could be like a 2-part episode.
Oh, I got one. In my Fiero, the fire extinguisher came loose in the trunk and without the pin and discharged all over the trunk.
And of course, we were on a week-long rally, so all of the stuff that we owned was in a tiny Fiero trunk. That was the thing.
But fortunately, most of it was out at this point, which is why the fire extinguisher was able to knock around on a beer run. So then, of course, we found the local coin-op car wash and defiled their vacuum cleaner.
like that
that's a
Jeff
good
is
one.
thinking. Because Jeff has so many messes to think about.
Does it have to be something I did or just something that happened to my car?
Okay.
Like, do I need to be at fault?
We know it was something you did. We know it was something you did.
No, he has kids in the car sometimes.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. The kid that puked on your Nissan.
I'll go ahead and say that one since Mental brought it up. So I was taking the children, the Boy Scouts, between campsite and West Point, the Army Academy on the New York State Thruway, which if you've ever been on the New York State Thruway, it's kind of a highway that does this. It's like a 2-lane thing. And the kid says, "Hey, I got to pull over." And there's nowhere to pull over.
Right.
And then he pukes.
Mr. Wakeman.
And then I said, "Oh my God, I'll pull over in a second."
That slushy doesn't feel so good.
He actually had Vienna sausage as a snack the night before. And we think that was the culprit. He puked like 3 times uncontrollably in the car. like we got out of the side of the highway and he collected himself and I cleaned the car like as best I can, like a quick wipe down, and then he said, "I think I feel better," and I put him back in and we went like 2 more miles and then he went again and then he pulled over.
Like, is this what you planned?
Scraped it out.
Vienna sausages are never a good choice.
Of course, there was going to be puke stories. That's how it works.
And
Thank God.
And that comes from a team that eats Spam on purpose. Vienna sausages.
Oh, but Spam cooked right is good.
I will say, and they totally should sponsor us. But the
yes,
the floor mats, the
WeatherTechs.
WeatherTechs are the greatest thing ever. On that same exact trip, while we were like inches from home, a kid had a 20-ounce bottle of root beer, and he set it on the center console. There's cup holders right in the center console, and he just set it on the lid, and it went Froop! Right onto his lap, right onto the seats, right into the WeatherTechs, and it was not a problem.
Yeah, that's impressive. WeatherTech made in Bolingbrook, Illinois, right next to where I grew up. So there's that.
They may be the only hope Laguna Seca has of surviving.
That is a shame. So, because the naming rights are up for Laguna Seca?
Well, no. He he's the title sponsor of the track, and he's known to be a bit of a bullish person of, "I'll do what I want. You will all suck it up," which kind of what you need around Laguna, because it's a great track.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The local drag strip, another one of those terrible things. So 2020, the local drag strip, we moved to this house. It's about 10 minutes from the drag strip that was actually featured in not featured, but it was in the episode of Top Gear where they're in these supercars in the US and they went racing, and the cars weren't working right in the rain. It's about 10 minutes from my house. And unfortunately it's recently closed down because the people who bought the new houses they built around the drag strip are like, "Hey, did you know that cars make loud noises around here?" And it's like,
yes.
Yeah.
2020, they lost all their income and then they ended up having to shutter the place because everyone was complaining about the noise.
Oh, and then let me guess, like a month later, "My God, children are racing in the streets. It's so dangerous." Oh,
yeah, pretty much. My favorite part is like they shut down and like the property developer was already like, "Yeah, I'm already on top of this to like bulldoze and build more houses." It's terrible. So yay! Now the closest track is like an hour and a half away. Boo! So I got to go to West Virginia. Terrible.
We used to race in West Virginia. Not drag strip.
Barely counts, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Good transition.
Where are we?
I could just ask it so somebody's looking at the thing. So you talked briefly about some of your interviews. You've done a lot of heavyweights. Who is it that you think we should talk to? Maybe give us a suggestion. And is there anyone that you've had on your show or that you haven't had on your show that you'd love to have on?
Ooh, now that's a good one. So first of all, I got to throw out Steve Leto. You need to get a hold of him. He's the nicest guy, and I'm sure with his experience being in the courts, he would be willing to put up with this kind of stuff.
Mental's writing it down. He's our booker.
Well,
okay.
our other lawyer friend is also insane. So,
Well, have you met a sane one yet? I have not.
Yes.
What?
I work for an insurance company. We have a lot of them, and some of them are insane because the exciting lawyers don't go into insurance defense work.
No. We've talked to a few good ones every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've reached this weird spot, like as I was closing out 2019, where I really had been like trying to get a hold of, like, it had reached a point where I was able to get a hold of most anyone who I wanted to when it came to interviewing people. And like, that was part of the reason why I thought I might need to transition away. Cause like, with a few exceptions, like some AAA celebrities who, like, one of them, I forget exactly who it was, but I got a nice message back from their like booking agent. He's like, yeah, like, he
Like,
died.
no.
Like,
Oh.
no, like,
Oh, God.
yeah, like,
Sorry,
that
he's
was my
dead.
bad. Yeah, he died. I'm like, oh yeah, because I was one of those things where I was just sitting there going like, oh, this person would be a good person to get a hold of, and then you can run over IMDb if you're ever looking to like book people. There's like this wonderful pro service where you get like agents' contact
Yes. Yep,
information,
yep.
and that's a good way to get a hold of
Mental's
people.
like typing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Um,
I had a pro account back in the day when I was doing some entertainment writing. So
No, it's a great way to get a hold of like people in the entertainment industry who are like tangentially like car people. So I'm sitting here trying to think, like, I would like to get some people who are like deep into the car industry, like heads of like Fiat or Stellantis or whatever it's called now, and just talk to them about like kind of like where, like, because that part of the automotive industry is one of those things that really like boggles my mind, of like, you're not so much in the business of, yes, you're making cars, but like your day-to-day operation is not caring about what cars are being made. You're caring about like these mergers and acquisitions and this giant like global reach of a like company and like how that operates and works. And you can never, at least as far as I found, you never can get to like that top guy, because their time is way more valuable like spent doing whatever it is they do than it is talking to my jackass being like, what's the hardest food to eat while driving? Like,
which is an important question.
it is.
You know,
And I
The
believe,
important
has
question.
anyone ever gotten a better answer than Chris?
Well, what was Chris's answer again? I had a
Queso.
spreadsheet. And
Oh yeah, fondue. That's what it was. Fondue.
Fondue's up there.
so
Ooh.
Carlos
Yeah,
Carlos Goin calls you tomorrow and says, I want an interview.
yes.
Would that be like the biggest possible name?
Yes, I think that would be. I would just love to sit down with him. Even like, yes, I would love to record it, but I just pick that man's brain. Like, first of all, how do you fit in that kind of like suitcase? It's like, but like that like him would be fascinating. And like for a brief while, like there was, I had a brief run in. I was supposed to interview Rutledge Wood.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah, Rutledge.
And it ended up being he was doing a one lap of America, and I ended up getting not him but one of his teammates because he got trapped in a vehicle with no cell service. So it's like, yeah, that sucks.
Or was he peeing next to Chris in the bathroom at Pittsburgh?
Yeah, because we did that one lap where
were on
which
one
was
lap
on that. We were on that one too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he was peeing. I've been lied to this whole
Yes.
time.
Yep, he was peeing.
He was peeing the entire 7 days.
Yeah.
That
He
sounds
had-
about right.
He had a double extra size Diet Coke and had
Yep.
to pee for 7 days.
He has 3 daughters, and he was just so happy to not put the seat up.
Oh, big gulps, guys, huh? All right. See you later.
That's actually a really good segue to this next question. So you're obviously up on the new car market. We listen not as regularly should, because my commute is a lot shorter than it used to be when I lived in Georgia, but you're in with the new car market. I would love to hear your take on the current shortage of cars. If you think the market's going to get soft again, and who's going to get screwed and who needs to trade in their cars.
So you're giving me way too much credit here, first of all. But no, like what I was thinking about this earlier today, actually, and what's fascinating to me is you had this point where production levels got so low out the new cars. So the used cars went up in price because I guess there was a lack of like stock and supply out there. And that raise the price. But then there's also this Carvana effect bit of it, which is they've been going out and they've been buying up a lot of cars and refurbishing them and then reselling them to people. And then their competitors are coming in and doing kind of the same thing. And that's had a weird impact on the market as a whole. And I don't know exactly when this market's going to break. I imagine as production kind of picks up and operates, you're going to have this, like, the car I'm fascinated with is I want a C8 Corvette. That is, I want one of those, not this year, sometime
in the future.
Yeah, maybe not next year even, but so kind of keeping track with those because they had to delay production because of COVID. There was a material supply shortage because of COVID.
Seven times that line's been shut down.
Mm-hmm. But then you look at, there's also like the Ford F-150 where they were still making those things. They were just sitting in a parking lot because they couldn't find the right microchip for it.
Yeah. The chips were the only thing that wasn't in.
Right.
Cars were done, couldn't deliver.
Exactly. So it becomes one of these things of how much stock is sitting somewhere. And I imagine the pickup truck market is going to take the biggest impact on this because I think the F-150 Lightning, and I think this like just deluge of like F-150s and probably other manufacturers who have just stockpiles of pickup trucks waiting for chips sitting out there are just going to flood the market because pickup truck prices have gone crazy over like the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, it's hard to find a non-modified one, obviously, because everyone's got to buy it and act like they got a small penis and throw it up on, giant lifts and all that. So
how do you know why my tires are so big?
It's all
because the two ladies that were life partners before you put those on there.
That's true.
And they didn't have anything, so hence the big tires. That's how that works. It's fascinating. So I don't know when that market's going to collapse. I have a feeling pickup trucks are going to take a big hit, but let me ask you all, do gas prices go up like dramatically over the next couple of years? Because if that happens, I think pickup truck prices just crash out. If that doesn't happen, I don't see like economy cars being viable in the US like 2 or 3 years from now. Like who's going to buy a Mirage? Like besides like crazy car people, like 2 years, because they're not going to redesign that thing.
No.
Right? Yeah. If that thing,
we had this conversation on Twitter where you're telling me to go drive one because it's not as bad as it looks.
No,
that's their new advertising campaign. Seriously, not as bad as it looks.
If you think you hate it now, wait till you drive it.
So the thing about gas prices, and this is way too much insider baseball. Eons ago, I was in Canada before the oil sands became like this big environmental issue.
Right.
But I met in a bar the engineers who were designing the process. Mm-hmm. And the thing about gas prices is they will go up because inflation is real. But when they break a certain point, it becomes economically viable to start pulling gas out of very expensive places, which then immediately drops gas prices. So unless
and then immediately makes it no longer viable to talk.
Right. So there's always an elastic effect of the price of fuel. I think it will go up, but I don't think it'll go up enough to screw everybody who's got a big SUV unless there's a massive tax increase and people just piss and moan and whine about it. I think the way is to start easing people off that particular one. But your point about the F-150, the Lightning is that's not an electric truck. That is a truck that people who need trucks can use that just happens to run on electricity. And I think that's the key point that is going to help that car deluge the market.
Yeah. Well, the thing I've heard from a lot of non-car people about the Lightning specifically is like the fact that it can be used as a mobile battery station. That's a big thing. And then
they'll sell a million of them in Texas.
Yeah. Well,
they'll sell a million of them to anybody that's got to show up to a raw lot and start chopping wood and cutting.
How are the
studs.
Pro-dozers going to roll coal in that though?
Well, and I wonder what's going to happen when they're blocking all the Tesla superchargers and a dude rolls up in a giant lifted electric one going, "Yeah, dad, gotta plug in, brah. Gotta keep the paps called, brah."
that what they say?
I think the new rolling coal is going to be Van de Graaff generators in the back.
That'd be fun.
Yes, like 2 smokestacks out of the back, and if you could do the that is yes. That is.
I was thinking the silver ball one that you put your hand on and then you
Yeah.
make the light bulb go.
Yeah.
We have one of those.
Watch out for wildlife, though. They're flying between. It's like the world's biggest bug zapper.
Chris
Nice.
just figured out how to make electric trucks marketable to a-holes. Well done.
Yeah. Make it so it literally shocks people. That is
Yep.
I don't want to cut you off because it looked like you were about to say something, but I had a follow-up question. So
Yeah.
did you have something to say or are you ready for a follow-up?
no, the brain's already lost it.
Okay. I want to hear more about the Carvana effect. Like you said that the Carvana effect, and could you explain that a little bit? Because I think I mentioned earlier that I'm in the hunt for a Veloster N because I think that's going to be my next car. And like, I think my only outlet is going to be a Carvana car because they do not last more than like their shelf life on a Hyundai dealer is like the same as a half-eaten can of tuna.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love the Veloster N. I think it's a great looking car. I think if that car was out and available a few years ago, I probably would have bought one instead of the Fiesta. Unfortunately, it was not. The Carvana thing is so. Carvana has been kind of predatory. This is all kind of. I haven't done like deep research into this, but what I've been picking up is Carvana's been kind of like allegedly, so we don't all get sued, predatory about like picking up cars. So they get in vehicles that are maybe less than stellar condition, and they give people a lot more money than they're worth just to kind of, because they're a tech startup, and that's what tech startups do. We lose money to create market share so that we can basically buy up a market. And then once we control this marketplace, we can use that against the people who are buying stuff. So they've been paying more money for vehicles than they're really worth to try and like simultaneously head off the inflation stuff that's coming out, or not the increased in value because of the decrease of supply of vehicles on the market, and to kind of make sure that their competitors don't get this giant silo of cars that's available to them. I actually have close to where I live is a Carvana like parking lot, and it's fascinating like seeing the condition of the cars as they come in. Like I've seen some really beat up, like 2000s, like 2010s, 2011s vehicles that look hideous, and then like coming in you see like BMWs that look great and are parked there, and they're driving up the value of these cars, and they're doing it by like supplying out stuff like they want to sell you the warranty and all that stuff, and they add a little bit of a markup, I think, because it's door to door, so you're paying a little bit more, and it's non-negotiable, but it's delivered to your door, and you know what you're going to pay.
It's like Instacart. You're paying extra, whatever, but who cares?
Right. So they're kind of self-perpetuating this drive up of values of markets, because the NAD guide, the
blue book.
It's been going up simply because there's been such a low volume of vehicles that stays on the market. Because it used to be if you had a car that was 10 years old, it might be on the market for like 6 months if you're trying to sell it by yourself. Now, if you're trying to sell it by yourself, you're probably going to get someone who comes up and offers you around what you're expecting for it. And it turns out that it's actually a Carvana guy who's going to take it, throw it on something, and go sell it for a huge markup somewhere else. So that's kind of the fascinating thing to me. It's like they want to occupy, as far as I understand, they want to occupy this space, and they're kind of using kind of the same tactics that like Uber and places have used to kind of like drive out taxi suppliers. And then once they go out, it's like, hey, it turns out our rates went up like way, like a lot. So it's like you kind of have no other choice.
And we're going to pay you a lot less than we were.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
if you're an Uber driver. No, this is insightful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely right. I mean, the Veloster N has been out for I think 3 years at this point, and there are zero on the used market that are owned by anybody but Carvana.
Yeah. I think the only exception is this would be if I had a backing, like any sort of budget for this program. One of the things I would like to do is get my hands on a like old Fiat 500, like the worst. I love the Fiat 500, but the air cooled one or the newish one? The newish one. Like
okay.
The terrible one, not the cool old one. Like,
The FCA one.
You say terrible Fiat. That's a lot. But
yeah,
yes.
that's redundant. I understand. But those cars I think have the highest depreciation of like any car under like $30,000, like bar none. Like I think you can go pick up, even with like the crazy inflated rates, you can go pick up like a 2010, 2011 Fiat 500 for like $2,000, like for one that's in like great condition. Like I would love to go find a super shitty one of those and like buy it for like $500, like give it a car wash and see if like I could get like a Carvana or someone to take it and kind of track that car's VIN number from like start to finish. Like, cause I need to see how that vehicle ends up on the other side price wise. That's what I find fascinating.
Well, let's hope the Carvana overlords are not listening right now, because they're going to overcharge me for my Veloster N, and then they're going to not buy your Fiat 500.
Or if they are listening, hashtag you should silly sponsor us.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yes. Corner the everyone racers market.
That's right.
It'll be fine.
Tens of customers.
Tens of customers, exactly.
Totally.
And we have totally shitty cars that we will sell to you for so cheap.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of shitty cars, the Fiero.
Yes.
You got that 87 motor in it now.
Mhm.
It's running. It's working. It's good there.
No,
It's
don't
ready for Carlisle.
Yes.
Like, is it finished, or like what's still left? I mean, it's a project car. It's never really finished. But like, what's next on the Fiero?
Well, I just had the windshield replaced, which was
Congratulations.
yes. No, that was very important.
How much did that hurt?
So I got a guy off the Facebook Marketplace to do it for $250. So not too bad.
With the glass included? That's not bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
freaking
real
great for let's be honest. I mean, argue it all you want. It's a collectible car.
Right.
And
yeah. Haggerty says otherwise.
I was going to say, collectible?
Yeah. It's an old car. I'll give you
Yes.
that much. Yeah. It's at that point, like if I actually type in model year of it. So if I go to, what is the Safelite? If I go to Safelite and type in 85 Fiero windshield, it's like, that car's too old. Can't do it. If I type in 88 Fiero, it's like, we can do it. I'm like, okay, that's going to go away in like a year, but no, $250. A giant language barrier between me and the guy doing it, but he did a phenomenal job.
So yes, exactly. So you know he did it right. If he speaks
right.
with a Spanish accent, it was done right.
Yeah. So again, it was Facebook Marketplace. So this guy shows up in a pickup truck with a newly replaced windshield. So I'm like, okay, this guy obviously believes in what he does. And I tried to communicate with him, and he like pointed at the phone, and I was apparently communicating with his son. So like his son spoke English, so I would tell the son something, and then he would relay it to his father, and then that's the three-way conversation. So he's like, "Oh, Fiero, do you race it?" I'm like, "No." Like, no, only fools would race a Fiero. So
we know those fools.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And they've won.
It is a collect. It's going to be in the Fast and Furious movie. I mean, there's that, which I'm a little disappointed. I can't go to a screening. There is a screening for the Fiero Club of America, like at Carlisle. So there's going to be 150 Fiero owners watching the Fast and Furious movie, and I want to be there for that, and I'm not going to be able to. It breaks my heart.
So
but no,
cute.
yeah, it's gonna. So I drove it today, and apparently the starter heat soaks pretty bad because went to Rita's with my daughter in it, and it took like 15 minutes to get the car to start back up, which was unfortunate. I had just an old guy just sitting there eating his ice cream, shaking his head at me. Like,
It's not going to happen.
And
Not going to happen.
Guaranteed, his internal monologue is, "I had one of those."
yeah. Oh, good. Well, my daughter's therapist, she one's transitioning out, one's coming in, and she's like, "Oh, I used to own a Fiero back when they were new." I'm like, "You're old." Like that's
Yeah. Wait, we're coming to you to tell us to make life better, not to tell us about your terrible choices in the
"Oh,
past.
my mom hated that. I'm like, your mom was accurate. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it caught on. I'm not joking. It caught on. She had it the first year. It caught on fire. I'm like, yep, that's about right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I love that car though. I love the pop-up headlights. Like, yep, that's all. But it needs a paint job. It needs a paint job, something fierce. It needs an alignment. It needs suspension. It needs a lot of work. It probably needs better working seatbelts, if I'm perfectly honest, because I think the retractors aren't working right. But it's good enough to get me 2 hours to Carlisle. That's where we're at.
Hope.
Right now.
All right. Good luck.
You'll find out, because since you have a pretty long drive, you'll find out what else is wrong.
But on the seatbelt sides, because I do know you're talking about you put your kid in there. I have found a place that I don't know how they did it, but they have the original specs for the factory seatbelts, and I've got brand new, not new old stock, but brand new factory 78 Toyota Hilux seatbelts. And fully functional, like actual safe, as opposed to what was in there, which was a suggestion.
Yeah. Previously, it was basically like there was some rope, and you took the rope and you tied it. Out of world, that old.
Ike, I'm searching for a picture of your Fiero on your Twitter feed. It's not there. Do you got
Now
an Instagram?
go to his YouTube. Go to his YouTube channel.
Okay.
Which, by the way, he's not very active on Instagram. I'm calling you out on that one. Very active on Twitter.
I was looking for
YouTube
the
and TikTok. All of those will be linked in our show notes.
Yeah, I don't do I have never. This is my like elder millennial brain. Like, I don't understand Instagram, so I don't know why my brain just doesn't correspond those two. Like, I'll do the TikTok all day.
Ooh, I'm old. Ooh.
I'm old. Yes, I'm old. I turned 35 at Carlisle. I'm gonna.
I will throw something heavy at you through the internet. I'm 50.
Does that make you? You're not a boomer. What's the one that everyone forgets in the middle?
Yeah, exactly. We're the Gen Xers. We're the latchkey children of history, and
that doesn't sound right.
and we find all of this hilarious.
Yes,
we find the okay boomer and the millennial stuff a riot.
Yep, there we go. Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's when it was green.
Okay. It's no longer green.
No, and it doesn't have those wheels anymore.
This is proof of functioning.
Well, that's the old motor.
Why?
So it's not your car, actually.
Okay, why does it not have those wheels anymore? Because those are
the Fiero wheels.
Yeah, so those are like totally period correct.
So those are the 14-inch wheels. And I was having a hard time finding tires for it. So I traded with another Fiero guy to get myself the 15-inch wheels. So hold on. I can do a thing here. Let's see.
It's a Fiero.
Is this it now? It's like silver?
Yeah, it's prime.
Oh, so you get the basket weaves. Okay, all right. No, I will accept that as an acceptable replacement for
that's
the.
That's what our Fiero had. We had an 86 2M6 SE.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't working.
Okay, that's a good looking thermostat there. That's great. Nice and rusty.
Do we want to say
that's
what it is
not
for
a
the people that are
thermostat.
not watching?
Oh no.
Okay.
What is it?
That is the fuel pressure regulator.
It's a rubber diaphragm with a spring on it, and what he basically just poured out looks like terrible coffee grounds.
Yeah, coffee grounds. Much better answer. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
honestly, it's I put on your YouTube channel often. Saturday is my get up late, drink coffee, and just kind of watch car stuff. And I know you're not a fan of Haggerty because they disagree with you about the Fiero, but I bet in the next year you see Sam Smith taking a test drive in a Fiero and talking about their collectability. So yes, your channel is one of the ones that I like on there because it's unpretentious, and I do enjoy this.
That's a fancy way to say unprofessional, I think is the word you're looking for. No, I have a fun time doing it. One of the things, so there's a lot of people out there who do these great videos, who do a lot of good editing. One of my Robert Dunn over at Aging Wheels is a big fan of the way he does his YouTube. And I can't do what he does. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go full guerrilla on this and just kind of do it like very much just one camera, one thing at a time, and just
it's honest. It's honest, and I think that's the key thing with a lot of this media is if you're real.
Yeah. So my hope is, and this is where I'm gonna have to draw on you guys in the future here, is I want to take it on I want to do a rallycross with it. I want to do a autocross with it, a drag race, a Lemons rally, or another rally like a One Lap of America thing with it. And that's kind of my goal. Well, if it works and if I get the time.
Big difference between one lap and a Lemons rally.
Well,
totally.
Or like the Hot Rod Power Tour, like one of those kind of toury ones would be fun.
Sure.
So, and I'm trying to think, is there any kind of amateur racing that I could enter a shitty old Fiero in?
All of them. Well, not so
but
much
it's not
AR.
gauged. That's the problem. Is it's not
Yeah.
gauged.
Right.
It's a street car.
I'd suggest HPDE. It gets you on track. Other people,
Yes.
no extra safety gear needed. It kind of gives you the feeling of it without all the work.
And there's a great track not too far from you that does
Summit?
great HPDE.
Are you talking
Which
about
one?
Summit?
The pit race, the NASA Great Lakes at Pittsburgh.
Pit race is great. Summit's old, but it's it's okay.
But their HPDE is noted as the best in the country.
well, the Great Lakes
Great
region.
Lakes
Yes,
region,
Great
yeah.
Lakes
Great
region
Lakes
NASA.
region,
Great
yes.
Lakes NASA is one
Yeah.
of the best. You might even get one of these staggering co-hosts up there as your instructor.
Yes, I knew y'all did that. I was like, I'm forgetting what they did. The high performance driving experience.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
HPD
believe-
NASA is a great thing. I was also going to suggest Track Night in America if you just
Mhm.
wanted to take a couple laps, because after a couple laps, it's going to break. So that's
True.
like kind of the easiest way to just, you get 2 or 3, and then when it breaks, you're like, hey, I only missed a couple.
No, that 100%. Like there's not the body and the subframe are all perfectly rust free, but to quote the guy at AAA when he was about to do an alignment, every component on this is rusty. I'm like, yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
They're like, we would touch it, but because it's all the suspension components are rust. So it's like, I definitely need to touch all of those. So might not be the best for a track rally. Do you bring the rusty stuff to the rallycross and just hope it breaks there? Like that's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, okay.
But you
Yeah,
got to get
totally.
it home. So if you don't have a tow vehicle,
Oh yeah, you need to. I was
I
wondering
got
if you're gonna
AAA.
trail
It's
it.
fine.
okay. Now if you've got AAA and it's rusty, the Lemons Rally. In fact, the Chicago Detroit.
Well, Ramble
Sucky
coming
suck.
up. Yeah.
The
the
Detroit
Chica-
Ramble.
no, not the Sucky. Yeah, the
Detroit Ramble.
Right. Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
All the highlights. All of them.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
You're
All the
leaving
fabulous
heaven-
industrial Midwest towns that you really don't want to visit.
leaving heaven, ending up in hell. That's how that works. Because you leave Chicago and you end up in Cleveland or Pittsburgh. One of those.
And
two.
it's done by a guy who was born and raised in the Rust Belt and loves it
Mhm.
like no one else does and makes fun of it in the same ilk.
Yes. No, it's terrible, but the food is great. That's the important part.
Garbage
that's fair.
plate?
Wow.
Nobody likes a garbage plate.
Yeah, I'm
Chrissy,
just
I think you have a question that's
I
like
do. I
ready,
was just
ready to
waiting-
come up.
I was
It's like,
trying to
Oh.
interject myself here. So tell us about Carlisle. What brought you there? What do you hope to get out of it? What are you excited to see? What are you excited to do?
But this is so my hope is to get there. That's my big thing. That's the thing I hope to get.
That will
out
be
of
a
it.
challenge. Yes.
Yeah, so
It's a good start, though.
So I imagine we've all had this as like car people, which is you get the car and you want to challenge yourself to like meet a deadline and to get to a thing and have fun in which to do it and like kind of commiserate with the misery with other car people. And Carlisle, I went years ago for Ford Nationals with the Fiesta, and that was a great time. And I enjoyed the swap meet and all that stuff. And have you all ever been to Carlisle? Anyone?
I have for the
Yeah, we've been
truck
to-
nationals and the international harvester gathering.
We went in for import.
Yeah. So you've experienced that swap meet, people.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
What?
Yes.
glorious.
Yes. It's like all of humanity just like is like represented there, but they're all trying to rip you off at the same time, which I
They all
absolutely
put their crap all over a tarp, and once
Yeah.
you pick something up, they run over to you and tell you it's actually 3 times whatever the price is.
right, exactly. Or yet you broke something that you didn't even touch. So like oh my goodness. So my goal is to kind of like go there, like experience, because I don't know what Fiero culture is like. And as soon as I heard there's gonna be 150 Fieros at a place, I'm like, well, I have to go there. Because that's just a place I have to go. I need to see what everyone dresses like. I need to just experience that kind of thing.
A lot
I
of
need to-
Nike Airs, a lot of jams,
Do you have a Fiero shirt?
I
Lot
do
of-
have a-
Wearing one right now.
Oh,
wearing
okay,
it.
good,
Lot of-
good,
Come
good.
on.
I'm sorry.
a lot of
I didn't-
acid washed shorts,
Yeah.
a
Well,
lot
so
of
you,
Iron
say,
Maiden t-shirts.
you say this, but like I think all of the people who like were that have already died. Like I don't know how many like first gen and like hardcore Fiero people have like made it this long in life.
It's true because we chose not to ride. We're the right age, Mental and I, but we didn't have a Fiero, so we survived.
Exactly. Yeah. Although technically second safest car the year it came out. I'm just going to put that out there. According to
It's a major award. Come on.
Yeah. International,
because they weren't on the road to get smashed.
It didn't go.
Because it was 1984. I'm learning all about the quality of 1984 General Motors products.
Obviously. Yeah.
Man. Yep.
Have you found any surface rust on any of your panels? Like how many 1980s like BMWs can say that?
Well, fiberglass will do that.
Exactly.
Stop it. Yeah. They don't know. Okay.
But we know. We've been in Fieros. This is not. Anyway.
Yeah. No, it's also kind of a thing too, because I want to go because I started off my car career in a old Mercury that I had for like 3 months before just the brakes ripped off of it in a Chicago winter. So like literally this is back before I knew anything about cars. The piston and the caliper, there was no brake pads. It cold welded to the rotor and it ripped off on all corners during like a real bad winter storm. And I got home and I explained this to my father and he's like, okay, I'll take it to O'Hare and see what's wrong with it. And it literally just went backed out, like went down the driveway and like went over the curb and hit a fire hydrant. And then it just disappeared off to some charity. So it's like, this is their problem now. So the car I got after that, because my parents were like, you're not allowed to buy your own car now. We're going to buy something so you don't die, was a 04 Saturn Ion. And I love that car, and I drove that car.
That's why you and Donnie are so tight.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Saturn, man. Saturn, best car company ever. Yes, that's not up for debate. So I really
just love those plastic body GMs.
Yes, yes.
Well, and Saturn was a great car company until GM'd them.
Right. But like even when GM'd them, they were still like, yeah, we're not going to play this game. So like they fought it to the end, even though they had been around for such a small amount of time. So I got my Saturn. I drove that thing for 7.5 years. I loved it. I ended up selling it because I was like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to treat myself to something fancy, and got my Challenger, which was a giant mistake. Should have just kept the Ion. So I kind of want to go.
What year Challenger was this?
Well, I got to 2010, and then I traded to 2010 for 2011 because it was actually worth enough money where I made a profit off of it. And then I got to 2011 because I wanted no electronic issues, and I wanted all the fancy new electronic stuff in the 2011, and it was just a giant basket case. Like all the electronics were fucked up. I was like, if I would have done this, it would have been so much better. So, yay for Dodge Mopar quality. So
I'd like to point out that was right after Mercedes dumped them.
Yes, exactly.
That was FCA.
When Mercedes was still running it, electronics were fine.
Right. Steering wheel hideous, interior awful, but electronics work. The airbag wasn't threatening to go off on my face every 5 seconds. But I want to go experience Saturn there. I never got to go to a Spring Hill, Tennessee thing, which I'm very sad about. So I want to go experience Saturn. I want to go experience the Fiero stuff. There's a bunch of events going on like all over Carlisle, which also the swap meet. I just need to immerse myself. It's kind of like a reemergence back into the car community. I'm gonna go give myself a little baptism of GM shit. So, and I say shit, I mean like an actual like pool of GM shit, because I think that's what you have to wade through in there. So,
but
I understand that.
Yeah,
yes.
It's also like the perfect time, and I won't get political for a minute, but like we're all getting vaxxed at this point, and it's like we're able to like emerge from our houses, like the slee stacks in like we're all coming out, and we're actually like. Thank you. We're actually like talking to each other, and you can actually feel moderately safe in a crowd at this point. Yeah. So even if it is a Pennsylvania, Carlisle, GM loving Fiero crowd.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's going to be interesting.
Well, and I would argue there's also wisdom in taking your Fiero, because as you walk through the swap meet, you realize that the trunk is not even big enough for a set of golf clubs. So there's only so much crap
you're not going to be able to bring home.
Not even like a part. You can't get a set of like
wheels. You're not bringing home
even less than wheels.
Yeah.
The GM design notes was the trunk had to be able to fit 2 sets of golf clubs. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
So-
and they blew it. They absolutely blew it.
Kid golf clubs?
They bought those golf clubs for 9-year-olds.
Right.
They put them in.
This is 1980s golf clubs, not the new ones that are the size of a toddler on the end of his
My
stick.
brother
Okay?
bought an 89 brand new, could not get a set of golf clubs in there. Know that from personal experience. In 1989.
Well, I'm going to find one. So, and also just going to point this out. 88 was the last year they made the Fiero. So, your story is dubious.
No. Hold on. All right.
88's last year.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
88 was the last year. So,
All right.
He may have
You're gonna
bought it in
question a
'89
guy.
because no one else had been sitting in a lot for a year and a half.
probably, yes.
Probably. Yeah. That tracks.
He got a deal on it. 88 was the year you wanted, though, because I had the best suspension. So it actually had like a front end that wasn't from like a celebrity. So
Chevette, I think.
Chevette. I
Yeah.
can't remember because it's one car in the front and it's one car in the rear.
Like
I
the
can't remember.
Chevette in the front because the Chevette was rear drive, so it's just the front, normal front
Right.
suspension.
yes.
And then the rear is Citation because it was the front of a Citation,
Yes.
which is a
Vision
front
backwards,
drive.
Yep.
Right. So talk about the two finest cars of the early 80s.
And I should know better than to actually even argue with you on GM. You are correct. I remember because I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and he had it. But it was the last year where they redid the front fascia on it, and they finally got the GT right, which was gorgeous and fast and perfect. And like, oh yeah, we figured this out. Time to quit making it. So I apologize, but he had that generation, the last one that made, and it would not fit a set of golf clubs because he was a business person and needed to play golf and had to put him in his passenger seat.
There was a 2+2 version of that car planned as well as a supercharged version of it. With
Yeah, the 3800, right?
No,
That would have been amazing, actually.
Oh yeah, 3800 in a short wheelbase car. We had no experience with that. It would have been fine.
Yeah. That was there was also supposed to be the first gen of the Quad 4 was supposed to be thrown into it as well the next year, supposedly.
Which would have been great because the Quad 4 was a great engine for its time.
Well, you all, if I remember correctly, you all are a bit of a the birds work for the bourgeoisie kind of people.
The birds work for the bush. I don't know what that reference means.
All right, if Jeff doesn't know, then I can't.
Were you not on the Apex Adjacent podcast?
We were definitely on the Apex Adjacent podcast.
talking about
two of
your
them.
bird conspiracy theory?
Oh, they talked about the bird conspiracy theory. That was not. We were there, but
Oh.
that was them, not us.
That was Jeff and Chrissy, the
Yes.
more
Man, you're
interesting
deep.
members.
With a good memory.
No, the conspiracy theory is, and I'll fill in the blanks, is that the birds do not exist anymore. They are all robots created by the government to spy on us.
Which was why the pandemic had to happen because they had to change the batteries.
Exactly. So as crazy as those conspiracy theories are, if you want to go down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theory weirdos, go to the Fiero forum, back in the late 2000s, when the forums were super active, and all the conspiracy theories about why GM killed the Fiero and what they were planning to put into the Fiero, totally unsubstantiated stuff, and it just is all phenomenal. And they're gonna bring it back. They're bringing it back this year. They're gonna bring it back next year. It just with hindsight, you're all
Trump's
crazy.
coming back too, I hear.
Yeah, and this was 04 when these Fiero people are saying this. It's crazy. So no, it's
04.
Yeah,
The Fiero have been dead for 8 years.
No, I know.
I'm told there's a
graduated
giant
high school.
underground warehouse under the new construction at Button Willow Racetrack that is nothing but 84 C4 Corvettes because they will now rise to the surface and assume their domination in this time of used car shortages.
There we go. What was
Totally.
the year without a Corvette? What year was that?
83.
83. Yeah. So isn't there only one and it fell in a pit?
Yep.
I know a thing. My brain is just
Fell
wired up.
fell in a pit underground.
Congratulations.
Just
Yeah.
saying. Just saying.
It's, it's
Okay.
all starting to come together. I don't like this. My brain is starting to freak out on me.
Uh-oh.
Well, before it freaks out, someone ask another question.
Chris, ask that question. Get him off of it.
So of any recent review you've done of a car you particularly enjoyed, what comes to mind is Chrissy and I have watched your NSX review because we have one and we agree with you. It's a wonderful car. Anything else that you reviewed in the last year or so that you said, damn, that was good?
I would say it's been a while since I've done any. I would say my favorite car I've ever reviewed was the Mitsubishi Mirage. So I'm just going to put that out there. I love.
Thanks for tuning in to Everyone Racers. That's
we'll just edit that shit out. We don't edit this show, but now that's snip, snip, snip.
I was 6 claws into a night, and he was up at 3 a.m. We had this debate on Twitter.
You know what else was a good car that I got a chance to review was the last generation of smart car, the little two.
Oh, really? The 4.2.
I enjoy those things.
Mercedes.
Well, the first one was junk. I never got to really see a second generation.
So we never got the first gen here in the States. We got the second gen. The second gen was garbage. It was hot garbage, and it was terrible. The last generation, the cabriolet version specifically, which my unicorn car. So you want to talk about this is why my wife tells people not to ask me questions about cars when we go to meet people.
All of our wives do.
Oh my goodness! So she'll
not
be like,
mine.
Yeah, because it's like they'll be like, "Oh, so what's your dream car?" And it's like, or what's a car that's like obtainable that you would like to get your hands on? And there's a unicorn out there, and I have yet to find one of these on the market. I know they exist in the United States. I know that they were sold.
Carvana bought them all.
I don't think they bought them because they don't buy a lot of manual transmissions. A manual transmission last gen Smart 4.2 Cabriolet. I know there was at least like 500 in the United States.
I didn't know they ever imported any manual smarts. I thought they all had that. Yeah.
The last gen you could get with a manual transmission. The manual transmission is it's okay. It's not good. It feels like it's attached with a wet noodle, but it's a manual. And you can drive it, and it's a cabriolet, and that car is awesome as a cabriolet. And I want one. Or a Fiat 124. One of those two. So, which is also a good.
The
car.
pretty Miata.
Yes.
124.
The Miata that farts better. That's what it does.
Sure sounds better, yeah. With the 1.4 multi-air, is that what they call it? The 1.4 multi-air, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Itty bitty engine, sounds like a motorcycle. Thing is phenomenal. So
same as the Fiat Arbath.
Fiata, yes.
The Fiata,
I love
thank
those
you.
things.
Chris, you want to throw in the second half of that question?
And hey, if you really want to do a review of the 1984 Corvette,
Doug Nash, less than 100,000 original miles.
43,000 in fact, but
Really? I didn't realize it had that.
I didn't
low
realize it
miles.
was that low either. That is amazing.
yeah, one owner.
The
paint is beautiful and it
less mouse
smells
pee.
Lovely.
one owner, but a bunch of things have lived in it. So yeah,
True. Oh yeah.
Yes.
their names weren't on the lease, but yeah.
No, I had to kick an immigrant family out of it. Actually, that was the part.
So
I just want our health care.
Yeah, housing prices in Boston are crazy.
I would love to. One of my things I would love to do is take a mid '80s like complement of GM cars and just see what's the best one.
Oh,
the GM sampler.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So you have the Fiero. Chris has a Corvette. What else do we need in that? We need like
Donnie's got his Ion Redline.
No, in mid '80s.
That's
So we said mid '80s.
Donnie. Well, okay. So all of his
we need like
are also '90s.
Yeah, we need like a.
We need an '80s 305 Knight Rider Trans Am.
Like yeah.
We need to find the Oldsmobile 442 from that year as well.
Yes, the Achieva based. It was the old Achieva with a quad
older
four.
Than that. Yeah.
No, it was okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it was the it was the Oldsmobile version of the Grand Am with a quad four,
or we just
and
go
a 5
normal?
speed. Yeah,
I'm thinking Cutlass Sierra.
I was gonna say.
Now we're talking.
I was gonna say
Right?
Chevy Celebrity with the
Eurosport.
3.1 liter.
the
Eurosport.
Eurosport. So, all right,
And a Beretta GTU.
Yes.
That in the turquoise with the pink stripes. Chrissy's like, I don't even remember these cars. I'm too young.
I know.
I promise this is coming back. So do not check. Mental tells a story that goes nowhere. But I have discovered an app on my TV called Fossum, and it is a whole stack of early 70s and 80s TV shows, including what inspired my entire fashion, my senior year and post-senior year of high school, the 21 Jump Street spinoff Booker.
Oh,
with Richard Grieco.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the credits, and I've been watching all of these, much to my wife's annoyance. And in the opening credits, Booker is walking
She is
down the
such a
street.
saint for
and he
dealing
sees
with you.
he sees an attractive woman, and he turns his head and walks right into a celebrity Eurosport. It is
Nice.
gorgeous. Yeah.
My
Yes.
best friend Steve, the pilot and doctor, his father had a series of celebrity Eurosport wagons because he was a Xerox repairman, and that was the company car that could put all the Xerox parts on it.
All
I
right,
thought
now
they just had the Ditto machines back then.
Shut it.
Yeah.
This sounds great. And we get Apex Adjacent to come out and videotape the whole thing with Dave's his drone.
Yes.
This is a great video in the
Mhm.
making. The GM Smorgasbord. Yeah,
Yes.
I like it.
All these shitty performance cars from the 80s. So, and then we did take your Corvette as the benchmark because I feel like that is like nothing can outperform the Corvette. Like
true.
that's
There
how
is
it
a
is.
low bar.
That's
Yeah.
why they killed the Grand National.
The
'cause they
Fiero.
did.
That's
Oh,
why they
oh,
kill every car.
I have a student who has like an 86 Grand National with under
Oh,
100,000
that's
miles
right.
on it.
The test car for
The
the gas
test car.
company.
It was
Yes.
a Chevron. I can't remember. It was a test car for a fuel company, and his uncle had it, and it had all the weird connectors for all the weird like computers.
Yeah. Oh man.
Donnie's got the Cadillac Cimarron too. So this is gonna happen.
Oh.
He bought it back. So yeah, this is gonna be great.
All right. Well, this is going
All right.
nowhere. Let's let Ike plug all of his social medias, including his TikToks and his YouTubes.
Unless he doesn't want people to find him. But
Well, that's the
Just like
Untitled
people.
bit. I got it's a name. It's a mononym. And just don't find me. No, it's Untitled Car Show wherever you're at. If you want,
I am genuinely surprised you agreed to come back, but I'm immensely happy you did. This has been fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, no
Yeah,
problem.
we were
It's been a
glad to
delight.
have you. And don't go anywhere.
What?
Because we still have what some people call the best part of our show. It's when we all shut up and let Chrissy talk. It is just slow tip.
Yep.
all right, this one's a rerun. You heard it before, but doesn't mean it's not important. So if you have a lawn, or you've likely either watched it grow higher than a small child, or you've been mowing it, or paying some kid to mow it, which would be even better. But you likely need to be reminded that there is a spinning blade under whatever platform you're dealing with pushing or driving. So here is your safety notes. Wear closed-toed shoes. Steel tips would be awesome, but at least sneakers because they're going to save your toes from flying objects. Wear pants. Okay, you're probably not going to wear pants. Shorts, because it's probably hella hot. But at least wear a shirt because flying stuff.
Some kind of pants. Though,
Some kind of pants. No bikinis. No mowing in bikinis.
No hoagie crushers.
No.
Were you watching me today outside? Is that why
I
you're doing
was.
this?
That's
Tip?
why I was saying that you were unsafe here.
I wear a European cut.
What could be safer than this leopard print thong? I don't
This
know.
is all terrifying.
It's called a banana hammock, and the neighbors love it.
I'm sure they do, but
On the riding mower.
the blades do not. Safety glasses are a must. Sunglasses really aren't going to cut it because crap seriously flies around and they're going to fly around them. So wear the safety glasses and get 2 pairs because when you steal them from your husband, then your husband is not wearing safety glasses. So get 2 pairs. Make sure you get a shower or at least wash off your appendages, especially if you are allergic to poison anything, because that stuff flies too. Let me tell you that I know this. And drink water, not beer. So it can take some extra effort especially on very hella hot days. You can get dehydrated. Okay, fine. If you're going to drink beer, at least have a water in between, please. Maybe consider it. And then sit back and admire your effort. Don't go to the hospital for something stupid.
That's great. Thanks. I
Hospitals
put
are
on my eye protection while you were reading.
Thank you. Because you're mowing your lawn right now. So there's that.
I'm not, but that's it. Ike, do you mow your own lawn? Do you have a lawn?
So it's funny because I actually did mow my own lawn today. I have 4 acres.
Oof.
So yeah, no, it's not fun. The wife's like, I want to live out in the wilderness. And I'm like, yay. She's like, but you're going to take care of it all. I'm like, boo. But
That driveway shot of the Fiero was gorgeous.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the front half. Then there's 3 more acres behind that, which kills me. But the neighbor kid just wandered over today and was like, would you want me to cut your lawn for $20? I went, for how much? And he went, I went, for how much? He went 15. And I went, dude, I'll give you $40 to cut your lawn.
I'm so glad you fixed that because I was like a little worried there might actually be a hell. So yeah, good on you. $40.
How
Okay.
much? Let me haggle this with you, small child.
Yeah, I was like, what? Because he was a little nervous because I think his parents saw me because I was outside with my daughter running around, and his parents were like, go ask him. So he was so nice. He went around like the long way to get to the house, and he sounded so nervous. And then I'm half deaf because I drive loud ass cars. So he goes like, would you be interested when I'm cutting my lawn? I cut your lawn for like, $20. I'm like, for how much? Like, 15. I'm like, yeah, 40. How about 40? I'll do it for 40.
I wonder what he said to his parents. Like, I went over there and negotiated, and I came back for getting
I'm
more.
totally going to business school, Mom and Dad, because I own this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I assume
He
we're
fell
talking
for
about
my plan.
I assume we're talking about some sort of riding mower, correct?
Yeah, I don't know what he's got. I have a riding lawnmower. If I see him out there with a pushing mower, I'm be like, here's the riding lawnmower. It's as jury rigged as any of my cars.
I love riding mowers.
Alternate just the tip coming up.
Yeah. And here's a pair of safety glasses. Here's a set of iPod ears and some Mickey Mouse headphones to protect your hearing. Here's your $40. Have a great day.
Here's your safety tip. When Chrissy is at your house and says, hey, can I ride your lawnmower and mow the lawn?
Just one lawn.
Just one pool cover. You run over just one pool cover.
Yes, to mow your lawn once. And I never live it down.
Chrissy, how many Corvette windshields have you destroyed with your...
It was a side window. It was not the windshield.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like,
She hasn't
I
had the
have a Corvette and I haven't
garage.
done anything with my Corvette. I was so confused.
That's like the old joke of like the guy talking to, the guy he meets at the bar. He's like, I've been a blacksmith in this town for 10 years. They don't call me Barry the blacksmith. I've, horsed or put shoes on all these horses and I trained them and they don't call me Barry the trainer. But you fuck one goat.
One goat. That has been our running joke for years now.
Absolutely what we were going for.
Absolutely.
I told that joke to the other Boy Scout parents over the weekend. We made sure all the kids were away and built bridges. Anyway. Wow, this has been fantastic. Ike, one last plug. It is the Untitled Car Show. It is everywhere on the internet. The YouTube presence is getting bigger and bigger. You're going to start wrenching. Our YouTube presence has gotten bigger and bigger also because of COVID. It just became really easy to push the record button on the Zoom. And then... Isn't
Zoom great for this? It's phenomenal.
It really is. It so is.
Yeah.
So anyway, do we know what we're doing next week?
No.
Podcast, I think.
Yep.
Do we have a topic?
We think, but that's still like a
Tuesday. We'll probably figure it out.
Yeah. Not drinking nearly enough. I think
so not a promo for next week's show.
Well, you guys could get Ryan on probably. I could send him over here, and you could have an Untitled.
We try and hold off to one interview a month. So,
but in all seriousness, have him get a hold of us, or have him get a hold of me, and no, we'll schedule it. It just won't be next week. But yeah,
exactly.
Please, love to have him.
Okay. Yeah. He does racing stuff, which I think is your whole shtick. Yeah. I also, when I have this bad habit of when I know people want to stop talking, I just keep talking. So you're going to have to just tell me to shut up.
It's not a problem.
I hear the music. Does that mean the show's
all I have to do is rewind. I just push on my phone. I just rewind it back again.
So why don't you
Chrissy's
record
been doing
the
this for
intro
200 episodes. She's used to it.
So why don't you record the intro every week and just play that as well?
Because I alter it as I read it every time, and I actually personalize it to the show
as he reads it every time.
The intro probably should, but anyway, here is the thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ike from the Untitled Car Show, and thank you all of you listeners for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you can join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, and cleaning, and deodorizing, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes. It's been a long time since we've had an iTunes review. So go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. Or if you're watching on YouTube, right down there in the doodly-doo, just go ahead and type to us. We will talk to you right back. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can text us 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless it's all full of mouse poo, then just go ahead and roll that sucker over.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you all. Smooches. Am I supposed to leave now? I don't know what's going on.
No, just hold on. Wait.
We're waiting for Mental to stop recording.